Fala aí, galera, começando aqui hoje mais um episódio desta fantástica obra de arte chamada Call of Cthulhu. Mais uma daquelas inúmeras obras cheirosas de HP Lovecraft, obras cheirosas, capítulo 5, muito gás, né? Então, para dar muito gás, vamos pro capítulo 6. Bora lá? Bora ver como que nós vamos ficar agora. Será que nós vamos ficar parrudo?
No. I want to know what Bradley and Dr. Colden have to say about all this.
Não, vou ter que falar com a Colden e o
How do you
Bradley
feel?
primeiro.
Did I sleep long?
The day is only starting. It's fine.
Com quem que eu vou falar primeiro, hein? Com o
How's that
Bradley.
fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the force, but that'll come soon.
Bradley?
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
Olha só, não tem nível de ocultismo ainda. Vamos falar com os dois?
Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course, he's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins. And that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
Foi por causa do andarilho.
But something was there with us.
Of what do you speak?
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say? That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
Precisamos ser cautelosos, eu também acho.
You're right. Without a plausible explanation for what I saw, let's not jump to conclusions.
That seems wise indeed.
Very well. I'll go to see Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my best.
Fale com a viúva de Sanders. Será que tem alguma coisa aqui pra gente descobrir? Acho que não, né? Não vamos beber. Porque isso nos afeta. A gente já viu lá no primeiro capítulo que afeta.
Let us go now and learn the truth about what's happening.
The other night's events are still confused in my head.
Bom, aparentemente não tem mais nada. A gente pode falar com a viúva de Sanders. Residência Sanders. Ó.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders, I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may.
Não gostei da tia, não. Ela não é bonita, não.
That my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Well, well, look who's here.
Olha, gatinha.
You know each other.
We met briefly. Time enough to iron out a few matters. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, Detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable.
Pierce Baker ficava legal, né? Cat é muito gatinha. Cat, gatinha. Cat,
May I
gatinha.
inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday, I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
I expected to find you more grief-stricken than this by the death of your husband.
I do not like the tone of your allusion, sir. I had long months to weep every tear in my body, and to accept, if not my fate, at least that of my husband. And so I'm sorry to disappoint you if you're expecting more hysteria and grieving widow in my voice. Rest assured, however, my anger is real. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
Mrs. Sanders, I understand your grief, and I extend my deepest condolences to you. But I had nothing to do with the death of your husband. I've just arrived on Darkwater. I'm investigating the death of the Hawkins family.
The death of the Hawkins family? You mean it was not an accident? This accursed island knows only tragedy after tragedy. You too would be advised to flee it like the plague. Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
Ó, abusada, hein? Não vou perguntar sobre a Cat, que eu não tenho nada a ver com isso.
How did you come to meet Sarah Hawkins?
We were the wealthiest and most influential families on Darkwater. Of course we would know each other. And when Charles returned from Europe with his sweet little artist, she and her sinister paintings were destined to catch my husband's eye. He bought many of her works over the last 5 years. They adorn his macabre gallery.
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A shambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it,
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long.
Não gostei dessa tia, não. Vamos dar uma explorada na casa. Nós ganhamos 2 pontos. Vamos já distribuir. Eu acho que aqui no caso agora vamos focar em eloquência. Nós vamos precisar confabular bastante.
Did she really care for him after all?
A carta de falecimento.
The day the Shambler came into the Sanders' lives.
Sarah Hawkins. Ao lado de Sanders com andarilho. Bom, abriu margem para a gente fazer um reconhecimento.
Frances Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even?
Isso.
A house of artists. A house of artists. Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the Shambler. Finally. What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting?
Mas estranho, o Sanders ganhou o quadro.
He finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom?
Essa aqui nunca tá feliz.
Was she jealous of Sarah Hawkins? She first refused to sell the painting. How did that make her feel?
Eita. Que é isso, menino?
Shambler. I need to see it.
Mais um tomo de medicina. Ali um pianinho. Fica pianinho. Entendeu? Trocadilho. Pianinho. Opa, não pode entrar ali. Nem dá pra arrombar. Nem aqui. Opa, tem um gramofone aqui.
Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted.
Uma gravação de áudio que Frances Sanders deixou para a esposa dele, Irene. Ó. Bonitinho, casal.
Irene, I made a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. I see him behind my eyelids each time I shut my eyes. I can't take any more. I can't hold him back. Forgive me.
That accursed gallery.
Irene,
Those
I
accursed
made a mistake.
paintings. That accursed Sarah.
I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it.
Eita.
I see him
Então ele queria que entrasse lá e queimasse a galeria, né?
each time I shut my eyes.
A gente pode fazer isso. Vamos só ver se não tem mais nada pra nós mexer. Acho que o piano, né?
Irene, I made a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. I see him behind my eyelids each time I shut my eyes.
É uma sequência. Vezes 2. Deu.
Is this dagger part of Sanders' collection?
Oh.
Or is he seeking to acquire?
Aí o pai só precisava ouvir pra poder ter um ouvido de passarinho. Agora foi. É uns puzzles dificinhos. A baleia e o bacalhau. Não sei se eu leria um livro desse, não. Não é bonito, não. Você leria o livro? Ler o livro. Com todo prazer.
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others. What have you come looking for in this gallery?
I'm not here to cause trouble, if that's what's worrying you.
Worry me? Don't overestimate yourself. If the last beating wasn't enough for you, I can always give it another go.
Oh.
But as long as you keep out of my way, you're free to carry on with your visit.
I found this drawing of a dagger. Did you come across anything like it in your reading?
Perhaps. I saw several daggers in the ledgers. I could always check. What I didn't find, however, was the slightest reason why I should help you, Detective.
I don't need your services. I can manage all on my own, thanks.
Do it then.
Oh.
Not now, sweetheart. I'd like to read this without some snoop looking over my shoulder. Go take a hike,
Abusada.
Detective. Go take a hike, Detective.
Abusado demais. Quando é assim, amanhece com a boca cheia de formiga, viu? Nojenta. Vamos ver onde que tá aquele punhal. Exatamente aquele punhal. Parece esse aqui, mas não é ele não. Ele tem duas facas no meio. É esse aqui, ó. Ele tem duas facas no meio, então é isso. Esse aqui também tem. Mas ele não dá espaço para pegar. Esse aqui tem um traço no meio. Essa aqui é uma faquinha de mesa para cortar pão.
The man transformed an entire wing of his manor into an art gallery.
Sei, não devia mexer com isso aqui, man. Ai, vamos lá. Vamos descobrir. Ah, tava na cara que ia dar errado. É, não gostei de você não. Isso é meio horroroso. E cego, que eu tô embaixo de você. Ai,
What
ai,
the
ai.
hell was that?
Agora eu vi o problema. Olha lá o bicho.
Damn. Did it hear that? That thing came out of this painting. There has to be a link. Maybe if I destroy it.
Tem que destruir o quadro. Corre, meu filho. Deixa eu te ver, não. Corre, meu filho.
This might be able to lift the curse on the painting.
Corre, meu filho. Ah! Você tá doido? Você tomou vinho, cerveja, uísque, cheiro ruim. Meu Deus.
What's the matter with you? You sure you won't be needing
Sisuda
that hand?
bonita.
You're losing it, Detective. At this rate, you're right. The bottle will get you before I do.
Não
didn't see
bebi,
anything.
I
maldita.
saw you within an inch of putting a dagger through your forearm. Did I miss something more interesting?
Sanders was right. This painting is cursed.
What are you talking about?
I was attacked by a creature. I pushed it back, I think.
I think so too.
Oh, ainda me zoou ainda.
You knew. You knew about the beast.
What are you talking about? Think yourself lucky that I saved your hand, even if it was to save my goods.
You mean me?
Don't flatter yourself, sweetheart. I'm talking about the contents of this gallery. And by the way, where do you think you're going with that dagger?
It saved my life. It's an extraordinary dagger.
You should talk to Algernon Drake. He's an antique dealer here on Darkwater. He'll tell you all about it. From what I saw in the ledgers, it was him who sold it to Sanders.
Você nunca faz nada de graça, gatinha. Vamos ver.
It's not your style to give me free information like that.
Take it as payment for being my canary. A simple trade-off. Now go see your antique seller. I still got things to settle with Irene.
Linda demais. Galera, muito obrigado quem ficou até agora. Fim do capítulo 6. Nós vamos partir para o capítulo 7, a livraria sem nome. Quem ficou até agora, muito obrigado. Se está inscrito no canal, muito obrigado por contribuir com o nosso trabalho. Se não está, se inscreve aí. Dá uma força pra gente. Muito obrigado. Tudo de melhor sempre. E eu vejo vocês no capítulo 7, na livraria sem nome. Será que a livraria não tem nome mesmo? Deve ter um nome louco lá, né? Obrigado. Tchau. Valeu.